Hello and welcome to episode number 4 of the Redvers podcast. On today's episode, I chat with former Royal Marine and current owner and head coach of Cumbria Strength and Conditioning, Matty Green. We talk about his time as a Royal Marine, opening and operating his own gym, and plenty more. So stick around.
This is the Redvers podcast.
And yes, this is episode 4 of the Redvers podcast. I am your host, Redvers, aka Justin Gill. I'm recording this out the back of my girlfriend's place because the sun is finally out here in England for the first time in about 6 months. There's been 2 or 3 consecutive days of stunning sunshine, and the countryside's very lush and green now, so it appears that the horrifying winter that we just had to all go through is now well and truly over, and thank God for that. On today's episode, I speak to Matty Green. Matty is the owner and head coach at Cumbria Strength and Conditioning, a gym in Dalton and Furness, located on the southwest coast of Cumbria. Matty is a former Royal Marine Commando, and having served for 10 years, he reached the rank of acting sergeant and finished his career as a corporal. He served in Iraq during Operation Telic 4 in 2004 and 2005, and served in Afghanistan during Operation Herrick 9 in 2008 and 2009. Through his gym, Cumbria Strength and Conditioning, Matty trains general members of the public, but also trains athletes and sports teams, with notable results found in the example of Liam Conroy, the current English light heavyweight champion. Matty's approach to strength and conditioning, coupled with his professionalism, an obvious trait gained through his time in the Royal Marines, culminates in a truly unique gym and fitness experience seldom found in the industry. And if you'd like to get in touch with Matty, check out the gym and maybe get as fit as a bloody fiddle, go to www.cumbriasc.co.uk. All the contact details are available via the gym's website. Also follow Matty in the gym on social media. On Facebook, search for Cumbria Strength and Conditioning, or at Cumbria Strength and Conditioning, one word. And on Instagram, use the handle at Cumbria_S_C. Now, when I first met Matty, I knew that he was the sort of bloke who I'd instantly get along with very well. So it was certainly a pleasure to finally sit down and have a long chat with him, which was on a cold winter's night at the gym. And it was a lovely chat. I enjoyed the time that we had there, and I hope you enjoy the chat as well. And I'll speak to you after this. Initially, I just wanted to talk about if you could just explain to people where we are, like your business and how everything's going.
Yeah, so Cumbria Strength and Conditioning, founded in 2015, July 2015, so came to the area. We lived in Australia for nearly 3 years, saving up the money to then try and open a gym. And that was the idea.
Yeah.
We came home in 2014 looking for some premises, and then we found this one. This is one of the very first ones we looked at. This and right next door. So both of them next door to each other were completely empty.
Yeah.
But this one had this office in it.
Oh yeah.
So and the next door was completely empty. So we kind of said, right, if this is meant to be, if this is still on the market when we come back next year, then we'll go for it.
Yeah.
And it was. So Vicky fell pregnant out in Australia.
Yeah.
And then we were obviously coming home to have the baby, and then the idea was to come back and then get the premises and then just take it from there. So got back in February 2015.
Yeah.
Started the planning, started getting in touch with people. Had a little bit of a kind of a bump in the road with planning.
Yeah.
We had to get a change of use for this building. This used to be like a spray shop or something.
Yeah.
So we had to go through the council to get this spray shop, to get this change of use done.
Yeah.
And that took probably 3 months.
Yeah. Christ.
So obviously been in touch with the landlord. He was happy to hold it for us.
Yeah.
But it was still a case of like, is he going to hold it if someone comes in and swoops, takes it under our feet? So finally got this change of use sorted for the gym, and then got the keys in July 15, and then away we went.
Yeah, nice. Did you receive, I guess we can cover that, but to lead on to my next question, I was going to ask, did you receive like training or qualifications when you're in the military to become a trainer? Or was
specifically in the industry now, no.
Yeah.
I received a lot of training with regards to coaching. So my last job in the Marines was to train recruits.
Yeah.
From civilian all the way through to Royal Marines. So
yeah.
I had training on how to coach men.
Yeah.
And obviously to take them from a civilian all the way through to someone who would be ready to go out on operations the following week. Yeah. So they were ready to fight. They were ready to follow those orders and crack on. And so in terms of coaching, I learnt a lot in the Marines.
Yeah.
But it's completely different. It's completely different to coach in that kind of environment to now.
Yeah.
Like I've got, we go from professional athletes to people who've never set foot in a gym before. So I couldn't bring that mentality into this arena because it just wouldn't go down well.
It wouldn't translate properly.
I mean, some people would love it.
Yeah.
But as regards to business and getting off the ground, I think if I was to start shouting and mauling at people, then it wouldn't go very far.
Yeah. No, I think I'm one of those people, like, I have that sort of that sadistic, I was going to say sadistic desire. There's no sadistic desires, but like, I think I would benefit from that training. I mean, but I must be one of the few people who would, because there's only so far I can sometimes push myself, you know. It's, probably because I can be lazy shit. Or like I obsess over stuff. So I'll obsess over, as I did last year, like getting back into fitness, and I did it. Now I haven't been to the gym for about 6 months.
Why?
You know. Because I moved on to something else. It's just my personality. I think it's if I can. It's been a good way to learn about stuff. Obsessing over things over the years, ever since I was a kid, I've been the same. But no, I'm getting back into it. I have to, because the benefits. I mean, as you'd be well aware, especially getting older. Yeah, it's. You see people who are like 50 and stuff, and they're just totally ruined.
Yeah,
and
not even 50.
Yeah.
Like 30.
Well, that's it. Like, I work with a few people who are sort of 30s, late 30s, and I think, what the hell's happened to your face? Yeah. Like, I mean, maybe someone's face isn't the greatest judge of their health, but maybe it is, you know.
Yeah.
But, no, so when you were in the Marines, in the latter stages, when you were training the young fellas, were you one of the blokes in the singlets? The white singlets?
No, they're PTIs.
Oh, right.
So I was a platoon weapons instructor.
Yeah.
So I taught the lads how to use different types of weapons.
Yeah.
I taught them how to shoot correctly.
Yeah.
How to conduct themselves on a range. On a firing range.
Yeah.
And I also taught modern urban combat MUC,
right.
which was my favourite.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved teaching that, and that was basically how to clear buildings,
Yeah.
rooms, vehicles in a methodical manner. And it was relatively new back then. I think I did like the second or third course.
Yeah.
And a lot of the tactics had come from the Iraq War, where specifically the American soldiers lost obviously a lot of people in places like Fallujah, fighting room to room. And I know, well, some of my friends work very closely with the US Marines, and the tactics started coming out from there in roughly like 2006, I guess 2007.
Yeah. Oh, right.
I did that course in 2008.
Yeah.
I think it was, and carried it on. I went straight from there straight out to Afghanistan. So then, managed to use it in real time.
Yeah.
And yeah, it worked. It worked really well.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've got my little brother who is in the Royal Marines here, and I've got my other little brother now in Australia who's also joined the Australian Army.
All right, great.
And last time I talked to him about a week or two ago, he was doing the urban stuff.
Yeah.
I think he said, and he said it was the part that most people are looking forward to.
Yeah.
Shit. So you went into like learning that sort of fresh, I guess, fresh techniques, and then straight into Afghanistan.
Yep, pretty much. So I'd finished, when that would have been, so I did my junior command course, was to be a corporal, and then rolled straight into my skill at arms course, which was to run ranges, and range packages, and then from there I went straight on to my PW course, which was then learning how to teach drilling the lads for weapons drills, and then the MUC package, which was I think it was 3 weeks. It was 3 weeks long, and yeah, that was very intense on the ranges with pistol and rifle, different techniques for shooting. And then the room clearance. So we'd build up from literally what we call mine tape, just tape on the floor as rooms. Yeah. Then into small rooms, buildings, proper buildings, and then just kind of escalate it from there. So it was, very fresh. And then so I finished that probably, I think it was September, October time. Yeah. And then I deployed to Afghan in the December, I believe it was. Yeah.
How long were you out there for?
6 months, 5.5, 6 months it was. Yeah.
Just 1 tour?
Just the tour to Afghan. I did a tour of Iraq when I was 18 in 2004. Yeah. But that was more peacekeeping. It was good, don't get me wrong. We was out there for 7 months. Yeah. Jeez. We were actually meant to be there for roughly 4. Yeah. And then there was little tales going around the companies that we were staying out for longer, and then eventually our CEO got us all in front of him and said, it's true, we're staying out here till January, so we had Christmas out there, which was pretty shit, but you just had to get on with it. There's nothing we could do.
That's what I was going to ask, like what would be the normal length of a deployment?
6 months.
6 months.
But then that's the deployment itself. You've got pretty much a build-up of 2 years beforehand going out. The unit will get itself ready in all respects for deployment. So you'll start training 2 years, 18 months away. So you're not on deployment, but you're away a lot. You're in the field a lot. You're doing a lot of training, but you have to. The guys you with, it's funny really, because deploying for Iraq, I knew every single person I was with. I was a Marine at the time, so I just I did think, but I got told what to do. As Marines, pride ourselves as thinking soldiers, not just about taking orders, but that's where it stopped for me. Like I was a Marine, did my job as well as I could. When I went out to Afghan as a corporal, I actually went out as a battlefield replacement. So the guy I replaced, I think he'd been shot in the leg. So then I went in with a group of lads.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
They didn't know me.
Yeah.
They'd been out there for a while already, so it was.
Yeah.
I had to, obviously step up straight away.
Yeah.
Make them trust me. That was the main thing.
Yeah.
And make sure I had the trust in them too, which I did.
Yeah.
Very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Really quickly. Absolutely great set of lads. Don't necessarily speak to them much, but I know if they walked through that door or I was sitting in the street, it'd be like you'd never been away from them. Yeah.
No, that's what I was thinking about today was, that's such an extreme environment. You're in the midst of a war, and from my brothers, I guess, and sort of from knowledge of the military, the emphasis on, I was going to say groupthink, but like sticking together as one unit, that must be so beneficial psychologically. If you were sort of out there by yourself, you'd kind of be screwed, to a degree. But how much it must, that brotherhood, I guess, sustain everyone. It must be the most essential ingredient to, is it maintaining your, I guess for lack of a better term, sanity, or your psychology sort of remaining?
Yeah, I think I can't speak for any other forces, Army, Navy, whatever. The Marines it seems much more of a family, like you said a minute ago, brotherhood. And I'm sure other units, Army units, I'm not saying they're not.
Yeah.
It just seems different from the top to the bottom. From, the boss of the troop, the OC, the company, the CO, the unit.
Yeah.
Right the way down to the most junior Marine. It just seems, more of a close-knit group. And I think the reason is that because usually a Marine would move units roughly every 2 years, 18 months to 2 years. So if you went to another unit, you'd know someone.
Yeah.
You'd see someone and you'd know them straight away.
Yeah.
Whereas I think in other units, regiments, they kind of stay there for a long period of time. So there's always guys you'd see around the bazaars, as we call it. So that brotherhood was, you'll never get it again.
No,
I'll never get that again. So
God, no, it's bloody. I find it very interesting. It's fascinating. Like when you were clearing buildings and stuff, was that in Afghanistan? Like, I've seen documentaries, and that looks insane. I can only think what it might be like, but what is it like when you first land there, and how do you cope with the moments before your first sort of engagement? Is there an atmosphere amongst the blokes, like,
Yeah, so when I first got out there, I knew straight away it was going to be different to Iraq, just simply because of the missions that we had to do, and quite quickly I had to learn on the ground. So my second in command, my 2IC, he kind of showed me the ropes almost. He's junior to me, but pretty much showed me the ropes, and he was class. Denby Hopkins, absolutely brilliant. South African lad, and quite quickly I learned on my feet and then took it from there. And then I was lucky. My tour of Afghanistan, I think I was lucky compared to quite a few of my friends who have had horrific tours. Absolutely, you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy. We were lucky in the case of Lima Company. We would do aviation assaults. So we'd get ready, we'd load into our helicopters, Chinook helicopters, and then we'd go land on our objective, do whatever it was, whether it was trying to win hearts and minds, or if it was searching for, drugs, opium, or if it was to fight. So we knew what we had to do, and then we knew we'd get extracted.
Yeah.
Whereas quite a few of my friends would stay in FOBs and patrol bases, and they'd stay there for weeks, months at a time.
Yeah.
Horrible places to be.
Yeah.
And literally every time they went out the gate, it would be a lottery as to whether they would come back whole or alive.
Yeah.
And for that pressure, even though I've been out there, I can't know how I would have handled that.
Yeah.
Because that is the hardest, I think, not knowing if you or your friend is going to come back, your friends, your mates, your brothers are going to come back in one piece every time. And we're talking daily, for hours and hours on end.
Yeah.
And for what? Most of that land has been given, the Taliban's got it back now already, so
yeah. Oh, right.
It's it seems pretty pointless. So literally, you are kind of fighting for the guy next to you.
Yeah.
And that's it. There's no agenda there. There's no politics there. We're there. We've got to do a job.
Yeah.
We'll get told what to do. We've got to go do it.
Yeah.
So we can't take that mindset of, well, this isn't right.
Yeah.
This is stupid.
Yeah.
We have to do it. And like, you could tell the longer we stayed on the ground, we always knew we were being watched.
Yeah.
Always being watched. And we had translators with us.
Yeah.
And they had a radio, and we'd pick up the Taliban's radio and their chatter as well.
Right.
So we could always like hear what they were saying, and they knew that we knew.
Yeah.
So they'd say little things over the radio, like, right, we're gonna get them now, we're gonna do them.
Yeah.
And then you'd hear nothing.
Yeah.
It'd just be silent. So you'd be waiting.
Yeah.
So it's kind of clever. Like they'd get us on edge.
Yeah.
But we used to have like little bets at what time we were going to get contacted, and so you kind of knew it was going to happen, but it was just inevitable. And when it happened, you deal with it.
Yeah.
As a corporal, I had to make sure I had seven other lads underneath me.
Yeah.
I had to make sure I knew best places to take cover, best places to move if we got in a shitty situation.
Yeah.
Keeping in touch with my boss, my other section commanders as well.
Yeah.
So it was mentally draining as well as physically draining. Yeah.
Yeah. God, I can imagine. It's it's such an intense thing. I mean, as a civilian, I'll never experience that. So it's. And I think that's probably a big part of the fascination that a lot of people have with like war films and collecting stuff from the military, things like that.
Yeah.
But now having sort of two brothers in the military, it's like my interest in it is higher now, But I'm older. I mean, I wanted to be an Air Force pilot when I was a kid, and
I think everyone does.
Yeah.
I
still love jets. I follow a lot of like jet things on Instagram, like low fly passes and stuff like that. But I certainly didn't have the mathematics or the physics to back up that desire later in life. So I sort of I don't think I would have gone down a military path. I think because I have more of an artistic personality. Yeah. But obviously my little brothers have gone down that path. But when did you, like, how old were you when you joined? Were you quite young?
I just turned 17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what you wanted to do for a while? Or?
Yeah, so I wanted to be a fighter pilot too.
Yeah.
Quickly realised I was no good at maths or science.
Yeah.
So kind of put that on the back burner, and then as my cousin Adam, he said about the Marines, and I was like, what is the Marines?
Yeah.
He's a year older than me, school year older.
Yeah.
So we kind of looked into it and thought, right, let's do it. let's go for it.
Yeah.
So we started training, running. We already did lots of training. We used to go boxing and football and stuff. So running, pull-ups, press-ups, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Got ourselves our date for our PRMC, Potential Royal Marines course.
Yeah.
Did it together, smashed it.
Yeah.
Got our date to join together, same date, 23rd of September 2002. And he went and got himself a double hernia.
Yeah.
So he didn't end up joining.
Yeah.
In the end, he didn't do it in the end.
Yeah.
And I went alone down there.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I'd come out originally. I wanted to be an officer in the Marines.
Yeah.
And then again, realised that the A levels I just wasn't going to get them.
Yeah.
Like academically, I failed miserably.
Yeah. You and me both.
I was terrible.
I didn't even finish high school, so
I may as well not have done.
yeah.
Like from what I was kind of, I still get stick from my mates now. Like what I was meant to get grade wise to what I actually got. Like I just, it's almost like I couldn't be out that last year. I just couldn't be arsed with it.
No. Yeah.
I think at the time, mobile phones were like all the rage.
Yeah.
Texting was all the rage. So all I did was text people. Like that was it. That last year when I was meant to be revising, my mum would come up, see me on my phone.
Yeah.
Like I'm just texting.
Shit.
So my revision went awfully, and then my grades reflected that.
Yeah.
So then, the officer in the Marines kind of like, I mean, let's just join the regulars, and I think it's the very best decision I've ever made in my life.
Yeah. How old are you now?
I'm 32.
32. So I'm a year older now. I'm about to turn 34 in April. On the mobile phone thing at schools, I must have been just before like it became a big craze. Like there were maybe 5 or 6 people in the last year of school in my year that had mobile phones. So I was like, what the fuck? Like I've got a computer at home. I'll just wait till I do that.
Yep.
And then the second I left, because I left high school early, I didn't finish the last year, and I ended up getting a job in Sydney, about an hour away from where I lived. So I thought, I may as well get a mobile phone. Yeah. Now, I mean, I was on the thing today. I was off work today. I probably spent about 60% of today on the phone, just looking up shit. No, it's just...
Yeah, so I'm starting to come away from it now.
Yeah.
I'm starting to realise I spend far too much time. Like, I need things like Facebook for business.
Yeah.
And, I just really believe now I'm wasting my life if I'm just watching utter crap on Facebook. Like, there's no need for me to be on there.
Yeah.
So I've started now trying to do, like, getting back to people in the morning, giving them a little space of time to get back to and respond to people who've got in touch, and trying to do it again in the evening. So it's the rest of my day I'm not looking at crap.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think there was a period there where I started to develop like a bit of a sore neck.
Yeah.
Just from looking down all the time, you know. Yeah. And it's
that's one thing
insane.
I notice. Now I'm obviously in what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
A huge part of what I do in here is look at people's posture and try and correct people's posture.
Yeah.
And looking at the kids of today, are getting a hell of a lot rounder.
Oh yeah.
And those necks are getting a hell of a lot longer and a hell of a lot pointed forward.
Yeah.
And I can't see a reversal.
No.
I cannot see it reversing.
Not anytime soon, that's for
We're
sure.
just going to evolve into these really long-fingered, long-necked, like
weak, greys, like aliens.
Yeah, like weak individuals that don't really want to win at anything. And,
well, it's funny you talk about that. Actually, could I just grab another beer?
Of course you can.
I mean, we can come back to some military stuff, because there are some things I'd like to touch on, but talking about weak individuals, I wanted to talk to you about masculinity, because given your history in the military and now having a gym for a couple of years, you've been in a pretty privileged position to I guess, view what is probably, well, I was going to say masculinity, but like, it's 2018, obviously. People are, I think the role of masculinity or normal masculine traits are diminishing severely, you know. And I mean, that doesn't mean like bumping into someone and then, you know, headbutting them and then kicking them out. I think I do tend to agree with you that people seem to be becoming a little bit weaker.
Yeah.
Is it because we grew up in the 80s? I don't know.
I think our generation, roughly, give or take 10 years, is like the last kind of, I'm not just going to say masculine generation, but like, I mean, computers like started in it when we were kids.
Yeah.
Like Nintendo came out, and then it was PlayStation when we were like early teens.
Yeah.
You know, and then I think now, but we still played outside.
Yeah.
Like we still went outside, we still got muddy, we still got dirty,
true.
we still had to win at things, we still wanted to win, and I think we were pushed by our parents as well to need to win, to do things. And I think definitely the last, and I did see it within training recruits.
Yeah.
That kind of last generation there where I was in.
Yeah.
They were a lot weaker.
Yeah.
Mentally.
Yeah.
Not physically.
Yeah.
Mentally.
Yeah.
And they'd break.
Yeah.
Far
really
quicker.
Quick.
There was no like mental toughness. It's like, right, this is hard.
Yeah.
Get me out of here.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And I see it in here too. Like, when I've got teams. If I've got a team or a group of lads, like you'll see the older boys who aren't necessarily as fit. They're strong. They've got the strong that man strength.
Yeah.
But they'll go and go and go.
Yeah.
And then you'll see like the younger lads just get by, just do enough. Like they just don't want to push themselves. They don't like that feeling of discomfort.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I find it fascinating because I think it's definitely something that's prevalent. I think in the younger generations coming through now.
It's a culture change.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I mean,
you've seen the loss of manual jobs. There's no need for people to be strong anymore. Yeah. Like, obviously, you've got your manual labour jobs still, but many jobs are now office based, and that's where the human body's starting to crumble, literally to weaken. Yeah. Like there's no use for our body anymore. I mean, you take us back, we're not so dissimilar to what we were thousands of years ago as cavemen, where we needed to hunt. Yeah. We needed to run away. We needed to run. Yeah. We needed to throw. Yeah. We don't need to do any of that stuff. No. Everything is there for us, literally at the touch of a button. You don't even have to go to Tesco to do your shopping. Everything is on your doorstep via these computers and phones. Yeah. And I think that's our society now, especially in Western cultures. Yeah. Obesity is just so prevalent.
Oh, heart disease.
I think there's a massive role, obviously, on cancer. Yeah. And there's all the great charities that do a lot of good for cancer. But what about diabetes? What about obesity? Yeah. Like, there is obviously some charities for that stuff now, but it's not prevalent. It's not mainstream. No. And I think obesity will kill more people,
shitloads of people,
than cancers.
I was listening to a podcast the other day, or a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember who the hell it was that I was listening to, but they were talking about the obesity rates in the US, and they were saying that the people with obesity is almost at an epidemic level, but the people who are pre-diabetic...
Chris Kresser?
Might have been. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah. But he was saying that is probably more alarming.
It's like 88% of people.
Yeah, because I mean, it's a big reason why. I mean, not diabetes specifically, but I decided to dabble with veganism. Is because of the. I mean, to me, It's got to be plain to most people that the potential health benefits of cutting out pretty much anything that's processed.
Yeah.
By anything. I mean, meat. Well, I don't care what people eat. People eat whatever they want, but I have noticed a big difference. I think by cutting meat out, and it's when you look at the effects of meat production on the environment, I mean, is staggering. But also, I do have that thing with animals as well. I mean, I'm not going to quickly go and join PETA, the animal organisation. I mean, they obviously do good work, but I'm never going to be sort of fundamentalist about any of this stuff. But now, having survived off of purely just plant-based foods, I have had a little bit of cheese and stuff recently. Now that I know I can survive off that perfectly well, and my health hasn't suffered whatsoever, I kind of now don't see the point in having to slaughter animals. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think it's something that people... I mean, you don't have to become a vegan, but I think people should dabble in it just to sort of get an understanding of the effects that you can experience. I remember my sleep became a lot deeper. It might not be now, but purely because I go to bed quite late, like a lot later than I should be. I don't really sleep that much. But just my digestion, I mean, after you eat a meal, I don't get tired. I don't have any slumps in the afternoon. I don't get tired unless I've had sort of a busy day. I mean, I had a Snickers bar the other day because I was starving at work and I didn't have enough food. And about half an hour after that, I was exhausted. I think it was just the sugar high. I was absolutely knackered. I couldn't stop yawning, and like yawning to the point where you get tears and stuff. I was like, what the fuck's happened? But and I mean, like obesity in children. I see kids. You see, sort of. I was going to say fat little kids. I don't know if that's going to go down too well.
Well, they are,
but they are. It makes me sad. It's like that
it's horrible.
Little person.
It's horrible.
Yeah, and I mean that all comes back on the parents. It's.
I think it does, but it also comes back on culture. Again. And it's like, we can blame parents all day, but have they been educated?
Yeah, well,
have they been educated in what? I mean, if not, why not? Yeah. And then if you go, to school and you're taught how to make cakes and cookies, it's right there. You're starting there, you're planting the seed.
Bloody hell.
Literally well, I was never taught about vegetables in school. I was never taught about healthy eating. And I think, not to get into politics, but the government have a massive part to play. Both. I think we your country as well as mine, we follow what America does. We are going in the shadow, in the footsteps of what they do.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
I think it's gotten to a level now. It's an epidemic. It is, and I look at schools. If I drive past the school when it's closing and just see the kids. If you're in supermarkets and you're seeing kids, it's awful to see. And it's sometimes you want to just say something like, but what can you say? You can't say a thing like, how bad would that be if you just started laying?
You sound like that little pig.
It's not. It's just not going to happen, is it? But I think the older my girls get, the more it's going to be in my face when I'm at school, picking them up, and it's how can I change it? And I think how I can change it is maybe on a local level, and maybe if I can maybe help me and my wife Vicky, if we can help mums and dads learn, and that's what I try to do at the gym. Like if I can just help one person, if that one person carries it to their family, then it's starting to make a change. And if it's just a local change, that's much as I can do.
Oh yeah.
I'm never going to be, people like Jamie Oliver who can touch millions of people. I'm never going to be that guy.
No.
But if we can just start to educate people, and it's tough, it's hard. I know, I get people coming in all the time, and I think it's very convenient to eat shit.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
It's so easy.
It's super convenient.
Like you go to Tesco or wherever, and it's just thrown at you.
Yeah.
Just deals on absolute crap.
Yeah.
And it's easy. Like, okay, get this frozen food, stick it in the oven.
Yeah.
Get this ready-made meal, stick it in the microwave.
Yeah.
I'm done in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And it tastes so good.
Yeah.
Which they do.
Yeah.
We can't deny that. But it's just so full of crap.
Yeah. Bloody oath.
And, I know Vicky does an unbelievable job with our kids, like making everything from scratch.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
Yeah.
It is very hard. But
Aye.
at the end of the day, we want to make sure they've got the best upbringing they can. It's tough. Like, all the other kids are allowed to eat crap. It's not a treat anymore.
Yeah.
It's like daily.
Yeah, it's just normal, isn't
It's
it?
not. It's the norm to have a donut.
Yeah.
It's the norm to have a massive milkshake. It's the norm to have ice cream after dinner. Like, that's the norm.
Yeah.
I think our parents didn't have it as the norm, but they wanted to give it to us, to our generation, and say, right, well, we never got that.
Yeah.
Our parents didn't have their, let's go up to our grandparents. They struggled. Let's say, World War II.
Yeah.
They struggled. They was on rations. They got nothing.
Yeah.
And then if they could start to give our parents stuff, and then our parents could start to give us stuff, but more of it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we never got this, we'll give you it.
Yeah.
And then we're like, well, now it's here, it's so easy, it's so cheap. Let's just get it continuously and have it. And it starts at breakfast, and you've got cereals which are just so fully laden with sugar.
Sugar, yeah.
And you've got yogurts which are just so fully laden with sugar. You've got drinks, sugary drinks. Kids have had the sugar intake before 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And then they go to school and they get even more shit.
Yeah.
Because school dinners are just shit.
Yeah. Which is why, like you brought up Jamie Oliver, I'm amazed that he copped so much shit from people for wanting to instigate healthy meals in schools.
Yeah.
I thought, what the fuck? What is wrong with people?
I think it's cost. I think the big it's expensive to be healthy.
It is actually, because I mean, I won't say I'm vegan now. I have been for a couple of weeks.
Dabbled.
But yeah, it's very expensive. I don't know how it's so expensive to just buy a bunch of greens. Like, I will go into a shop and I'll come out and I'll have spent usually no less than, say, 10 quid.
Yeah.
But I'll walk out with, like,
Bag
kale, spinach,
a carrot,
broccoli, maybe a purple onion if I'm lucky,
Steady on.
And it's, I think it's designed that way, though. I think that there are corporations that are so powerful now. They have so much influence on probably pricing and competitive pricing and stuff like that. They'll make shit food cheaper than the good stuff,
Yeah.
And I mean, you're right about the amount of effort you have to take into cooking from scratch.
Yeah, it's effort. And people don't want to do effort.
Yeah.
Because we're so used to having it easy now.
Yeah.
Going online, buying your clothes, buying your toys for your kids, buying whatever you want.
Yeah.
And you having to cook a batch of food takes time.
Yeah.
Don't want to do it.
No.
I've had a long day at work.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit on my ass.
And I've enjoyed that discipline actually now. I mean, initially I thought, Jesus, is this how long it takes to cook every day?
Yeah.
And I'll spend at least no less than an hour, I'd say, every night in the kitchen just for dinner and like preparation for lunch and breakfast the next day.
Yeah.
But I find it quite satisfying when you finally do sit down to eat that meal. It's like I think I do appreciate it more. And I mean, I think people see vegetarian and vegan stuff as quite boring, but you don't just eat stuff plain. I mean, you've got to eat. You've got to add flavour.
Yeah, of course.
I like it now. I mean, I really do like it. And if I smell meat cooking, I don't like the smell. I can smell it. It's like, what the hell's that? It's like a corpse. No, it's not that bad. But initially, I think when people at where I live cooked a steak a few months ago, and I could smell it from my bedroom, and I thought, what does that smell like? It smelled like someone had taken a dump or something. But like the closer I got to the kitchen, it actually started to smell like a steak, So it wasn't all that bad. But no, it's terrible. And I think that the interesting thing about sort of people like you and I mean, we seem to follow sort of up and coming trends in, like, say, CBD oil and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of products out there now for people that are extremely beneficial, I think. But it's almost like an underground thing for the time being,
Yeah.
Because, again, I think there's, like, say, pharmaceutical companies who do not want to see marijuana, for example, be legalised, or even CBD oil only was legal here, I think, in 2017, late 2016.
Yeah.
And
it's not legal for athletes too.
Yeah.
So athletes can take it. So if it's all right for athletes, it's completely legit. I'm on it.
Yeah.
I'm on it now.
I wanted to experiment with it, so I got some stuff. I think it's called Charlotte's Web, and it's a famous brand because it was the people who grew the stuff, or the company where the hemp was growing in Colorado, I think. The parents of a child who was extremely oh God, what's the word? Where people have seizures. Epileptic. Yeah, she had, like, I'd say it was almost like extreme epilepsy. Like, she was having probably over 50 fits a day sort of thing, and she was knackered. Like, you'd just see footage of her, and it was like she hadn't slept for a year, and they started to administer her CBD oil, and just gone almost completely. I think it was down to maybe like 2 or 3 seizures a day, and it's just a life changer. But that
won't become mainstream because
here, take this tablet instead.
Have this tablet, have this man-made. And I'm not completely bashing conventional medicine at all. I just think it could be given out. I mean, what was it today? I think 1,700 lives are lost each year because of misprescribed drugs.
Yeah, that's right. I've read about it.
Misprescriptions, and it's like, what?
Was it 1,700?
I think it is, yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was like 20,000. It can't be 20,000.
All right, I'm pretty sure. You have to look that up. Don't quote me.
Yeah, no.
I'm not quoting you either.
No, definitely don't quote me, because it doesn't sound right.
But then, how often does that? If you walk into a GP, how often do they ask, what do you eat? What are you eating right now? How are you living? It's usually like, right, what's the symptoms? What are you feeling? Have this drug. And it'll make you better. And it was on something on 5 Live on the radio. And a lady was, she was in a bad way, like, I think chronically depressed, whatever the term would be for that. She tried to take her life 48 times.
Fucking hell,
and she was on this antidepressant. And I can't remember the name of it. I'm not going to try and remember it. And she then did some research eventually after 48 times. I think it was in a year. 48 times a year. It's every few days, like once a week. Once a week. And she read up on this antidepressant, and some of the side effects was suicidal thoughts. Now, where do antidepressants, why do they contain substances that might give you suicidal thoughts? And I'm sure some doctors or some pharmaceutical experts could tell us why. But why not look at their life first? Why not say, what are you doing? Are you exercising? Are you eating well? What are you eating? Let's try and change that. What's the root cause of this? it baffles me. I think we're literally eating ourselves to death.
Oh yeah.
And it's like I say, it will not be reversed.
No.
It'll only be reversed, I think, on a very local level.
Yeah.
And a community level.
Yeah.
Not on a national level, because there's too much money in it.
Mm. That's it. It's like this brand of capitalism that we exist in is a brand that won't stop until everything's sort of raped and pillaged, and their bank accounts are as full as possible. I think that we're already starting to see the effects of that now.
Yeah, 100%.
And until that is quashed, I can't see anything changing.
Well, you see the state of the NHS.
Yeah.
You'd think that, it's madness that one of the biggest causes of the money being drained from the NHS is obesity.
Yeah.
Yet there's barely anything out there about it. So I see so much now at the moment about mental health.
Yeah.
But what about physical health?
Yeah.
There's studies out there that the two are hand in hand.
Yeah.
Like,
definitely.
If you're not physically active, if you're not using your body, like your brain just becomes stagnant. If you're not going outside, if you're not stimulating your brain, it's just a downward spiral, and then you get given these antidepressants which just send them further and further into an abyss.
Oh yeah. And I know from Catherine, like my girlfriend, it's prolonged use of antidepressants and antipsychotics lower your lifespan anyway, as opposed to, or as well as the list of bloody side effects that people can suffer from. It's bizarre, because when I grew up, my mum used to cook. My mum's a really good cook, and we were never allowed sweets or soft drink or anything like that. Occasionally you'd get ice cream every now and again, but we used to eat a lot of fruit and stuff like that. And I would have to go to friends' houses to get like biscuits. So when they were there, like there was one instance where I ate an entire packet of these biscuits just because I never had them. But I was a kid, so it didn't really have any effect. Whereas I wouldn't do that now, because it would probably make me feel sick. Yeah. But that could change in my lifespan to where we're at now is incredible. At work, when I started to eat purely vegan, I'd take like a little glass tub with my lunch in it, and it's usually greens and all sorts of shit. And people would be like, what's that you're eating? Yeah. I was like, it's broccoli. Like, yeah. Or it's purple cabbage. It's like, you've never seen this?
But stuff? People are so quick to disregard that, because it doesn't. Yeah. They see it as it doesn't taste nice. Yeah. It's just a vegetable. But like you say, if you, like me and Vic prepares meals that are just full of veg. Yeah. Right. And they're some of the tastiest meals I've ever had. I'll never go against meat though. Like, I'm a big meat fan. Yeah. But again, it's finding out where your meat comes from. Yeah. Like, luckily, in the family, we've got brother-in-law's a farmer, so we know where his meat comes from and what goes into that meat, or what that meat eats.
Is he based in Cumbria?
Yeah, over at Lancashire, near Kirby. Oh, yeah. That area. Yeah. So, we get a lot of our meat from him, so... Yeah. And it's finding out, if you are eating meat, what has your meat eaten? Yeah. How has it been raised? Yeah. And if it's, just straight from caged hens, stay the fuck away from that. Like, it's just no good for you. It's just pumped full of water.
It's terrifying. And mega farms are on the increase in the UK, specifically chicken, like mega factories, I think.
Yeah.
Like.
Fish as well. Yeah. Like huge fish farms.
Fish now, I love fish. Growing up in Australia, it's hard to avoid eating fish at least once a week. I don't buy it over here purely because I think a lot of it is farmed, but even the stuff that is like wild caught, it's like tiny stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't really dabble
because we've just smashed our oceans.
Yeah, yeah, all
just
the plastic.
commercial fishing. Yeah, just absolutely ruined it.
Yeah, but
we're just ruining this planet.
Oh yeah, yeah. Before I started with veganism, I was looking to source lamb from a farm in Cumbria, like fell sheep, you know, and it's like you're right. That's what I was into, like sourcing my food to the point where I know that, you know, it's come from a good source, and the prices weren't more expensive. I didn't find it was pretty much similar, but you knew that, you know, this sheep had been wandering around on a fell for however long, and then one day it was called in and slaughtered. That's how I want it.
And that's it. It's like, yeah, it's expensive eating the healthy stuff, but I know that money's making me healthier. Like, it's just one of them, like, people's priorities. It's tough. It's tough for people to, you know, to earn a living and to, you know, if they've not got a good job or whatever. But it's like, I think people's priorities should be health.
Absolutely. You're right. I think it's like a domino effect. I think once you get your health in order, then your life just things flow on to the next, you know, quite well. But what you were saying about trying to change things like on a local scale, I definitely think that's the way to, that's the place to aim for, because, you know, I mean, I'm a dreamer. I mean, I've had these dreams where, you know, it's like, oh, I'd love to change this or affect that sort of, but you get old get older and you realise that you can't. I'll never affect anything on a global scale. Like, I'll never be a Gandhi, you know. But there is, I mean, speaking of Gandhi, like in a spiritual sense, it's like if you save yourself, or if you try to better yourself, that influence absolutely rubs off on other people. I mean, I've definitely experienced that on a few occasions in my life. I mean, maybe not recently, but when I was sort of periods of like where I was heavy into, say, meditation, it's just even like your calmness.
Do you still do that now?
I haven't for a long time, and it's insane. It's the most annoying thing about not meditating is the fact that even though it might have been, say, a year or 2 years, I think about it probably every hour. It's like, why aren't you meditating? There's that voice in your head.
Why don't you?
It's so difficult. I think
to meditate, or to find time to meditate.
I think to maintain a spiritual, or like an emphasis on spirituality, or like a spiritual practice, it's extraordinarily difficult. I think a lot of that stuff or a lot of the distraction comes from, say, modern life, you know. But I think this year I've made a bit of a breakthrough with my mind, or like my mentality, where essentially the only goal I wanted to achieve this year was to want less. Because, I mean, my mind races at 1,000 miles an hour. I attach onto this, let's do that, I'll go down that path, and then there'll be a bright light over here, I'll go down there, you know. It's insane. But now I'm just like, fuck it. I've given up a lot of the desires to sort of maybe become big in that or achieve this. I mean, not sacrificing wanting to achieve. I mean, that's absurd. But I'm quite relaxed now this year. I think I've been quite good with that, and I've maintained it. I feel a lot more relaxed within myself. So I think, I mean, the next step is to actually meditate, to sit down and do it. Because it's a game changer. I think anyone who endeavours on a path of sort of trying to better themselves will achieve, a better status within themselves, without a doubt. I mean, it's inevitable. But I have found so far in my life that it's probably the most difficult thing to do ever, is to be extremely consistent with it. And I have a tendency to beat myself up. You know, I'm just one of those people. It's, if I don't do something, it's like, you fucking idiot, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's, I mean, the times when I was meditating a lot, it was just, life was magic, you know. It's, I mean, it always is. But the ease, it's almost hard to explain, like the ease at which life sort of unfolded unto me, you know.
Yeah.
It's like things are happening for you and you see it. Like you can see connections and it's almost like you get a sense of why things are taking place.
Yeah.
And I think now, I mean, I think people need something like meditation more now than ever. I mean, this world, as you're saying, the place is just going down in flames. It's at least it feels that way a lot of the time.
Definitely.
But yeah, no, have you ever meditated?
No. We got an app.
Yeah.
And like did it twice.
Yeah.
But it was like, I mean, I actually had a chat with one of my members about it.
Yeah.
And it's like, when I tried it, it was like a 3-minute thing.
Yeah.
I think it was like, right, the first day, 3 minutes. And like, I fell asleep.
Yeah.
And I think for you to achieve a state, I think that you cannot, I know people who meditate are probably going to shout right now, but I think that you cannot think of nothing. Like your brain, and I'd love to be wrong, I'd love to try it, but how can your brain completely switch off without you going to sleep?
Yeah. No, I think that's like,
I've just not been taught how to meditate, so
yeah,
you know, for anyone listening, probably shouting at me now, but
yeah,
like my brain will not switch off.
No,
I will just, if I shut my eyes and breathe, I'm mega in like to my breathing, to big diaphragmatic breaths and just relaxing when I'm breathing.
Yeah,
I'd fall asleep.
Yeah,
I don't think of nothing. I fall asleep. That's me gone.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of maybe practitioners, meditation practitioners and teachers put a bit too much emphasis on ushering thoughts out of your head. I don't think it's about that, really. I think it's about controlling your thoughts.
Yeah.
Even trying to spend a day of swatting negative thoughts out of your head. I mean, just try and do it for 24 hours. It's, I find it fucking hard. It's really hard to do. Like, you know, if someone cuts you off at a set of lights, you go, "Oh, you fucking prick," in your head. But even, and I mean, I've done it. It's like where that inclination would occur, but I'd stop it, you know.
Yeah.
And that was at a period of time where I was meditating a lot, but it's a practice. I mean, I guess like any practice.
Yeah, like your mind's a muscle. It's got to be practiced. Like, I think the way I kind of train my mind is by reading and trying to educate myself in a way that I never did at school. But I'm educating myself on stuff I'm intrigued by now, and I have to learn. Like in my realm, in the industry I'm in, if I was to think I know it all, that would be my downfall, and it actually scares me as to how little I actually know about strength and conditioning, and coaching and training people and training methods. There's just so much to learn, but the good thing I think about is that I can't wait to learn it. Like, I cannot wait to get this information into my head and try and use it to, you know, the people I see in here.
Yeah, sweet. So, I mean, you've found something that you're extraordinarily passionate about, which, I mean, obviously because you have a business. If you weren't passionate about it, it might not be a success, but it must feel good having found that.
It's great. It's been tough. It's been tough. Like, when we opened, I didn't know anybody in this area. So I didn't have a base of friends to start the gym. Like, I didn't have a group of friends who could come in and tell some of their friends to come in. And then I literally had no one. In fact, I had one person who I knew, who was Vicky's friend's boyfriend, and he was my first member, Mr. Tom Brannan. That was it. It's one person. Like, he wasn't going to go shouting around the streets to get people in my doors. So it was a case of having to work to get people in, and to realise that I'm putting something out that's different to anyone else around here. And I think that's what, it's kind of like snowballed, and people have cottoned on to the way that we train people, getting away from, and this isn't bagging, but
CrossFit?
Not so much CrossFit. Like, CrossFit, I was Mr. CrossFit. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. When I was in Australia, we was actually training alongside the fittest woman on earth, Tia Toomey. She just started the same time we did. At CrossFit Gladstone, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But then I herniated 3 discs in my lumbar spine, and I had to really look at what I was doing and think, is this really for me? Like, the intensity side of things, yes. I loved it. I loved pushing myself. I loved the competition. I wanted to get better. I wanted to get stronger, everything. And CrossFit will do that. And the community it brought people from, many different walks of life together to train. And, I think CrossFit is amazing for that. And I would never bag CrossFit out for that very reason. It's brought so many people into the realms of training that not necessarily wanted to go to a normal gym, a Globo gym. So, me and Vic went and did our CrossFit level 1. I was Mr. CrossFit. Loved it. And then I kind of looked at it, and I think now it's become very diluted. There's not many CrossFit coaches who, how can I put it? Like, it's been so diluted. It's a 2-day course to become a CrossFit coach. And then you can go and teach someone how to snatch. The snatch is such a technical movement. You cannot learn that in a weekend. So I think as a sustainable training system, I think the body will start to break down sooner or later. Simply because it's very, how can I explain this without, obviously people can't see what I'm doing. It's in the sagittal plane, so we're just going forward and back, bending forward and bending back. There's nothing, and again, this is going to differ from gym to gym. So there's CrossFit guys out there who might shout down at me now, but there's not much that teaches or trains rotation or anti-rotation. The ability to resist force, the ability to keep a stiff spine whilst your extremities are moving. Now, take yourself out of a gym, something's on the floor, you go down and pick it up. 9 times out of 10, you'll just bend over, probably at an angle, you'll pick it up and your back will go. That's when you'll do your back in. But I think things like, with CrossFit, there's some certain workouts which just shouldn't be mixed. Workouts such as deadlifts and burpees. Or something which requires a stiff spine to then have to go into a flexed spine. Toes to bar. Snatching for time. Like, there's a reason Olympic weightlifters don't snatch for time. They'll do multiple reps. Because it's not meant to be done multiple reps.
No, bloody eyes.
It's at such a high intensity where, and you see the CrossFit, the elite guys and girls, and they're phenomenal athletes. They're absolutely phenomenal. And I almost see them as like an anomaly because Joe Public can't do what they do.
No, bloody
but they can see what they're doing and they can try and emulate that. And that's dangerous. Because and I found myself, I started, after doing CrossFit, I was getting stronger, I was getting fitter. I could start to snatch a bit of weight
Yeah.
And then I could put that into the wads, and I could start snatching pretty quick, and I could start cleaning real quick, and then deadlifting real quick, heavy weight, and then my back went boom, gone. But I do attribute that to the Marines.
Yeah.
What I did in the Marines, and again, gym wise, where I was at CrossFit Gladstone, didn't do a lot of core work.
Yeah.
I didn't train my core. I didn't know what it was really.
Yeah.
I thought training core was just doing sit-ups, and crunches, and people in my gym will attest, like, no sit-up or crunch will ever be done in this gym.
No.
Like, apart from, I'll have to put a caveat on that, because the Fitness for Forces course, which we just started, I've made them do sit-ups and that, simply because that's a test that's done.
That's what they do
in the military. And that, so, I mean, one of my members, Bry, he's been coming 2.5 years, and I said to him the other night, have you ever done a sit-up in this gym? He's like, no.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to do it tonight, mate.
Yeah.
So yeah, CrossFit is it's good, but I think in the wrong hands, it's extremely bad.
Yeah.
I am fortunate enough to be on an educational pathway with some phenomenal coaches who are CrossFit coaches, and I've learnt a hell of a lot from them.
Aye.
And they've got their head screwed on, and they know how to train people.
Yeah.
But I just don't think CrossFit is, and this is my opinion, sustainable to old age.
Yeah.
And then the people will come back at me with, well, it's scalable to grandma and granddad, which it is.
Yeah.
But you're not training every plane of motion that the body is meant to be put through.
Yeah.
And you're doing it at such a high intensity and a high volume.
Yeah.
Someone's going to break down. Something will break down eventually.
I mean, it's even like, I've been a labourer a few times in my life. There's a reason why you don't see old labourers, because you're doing the same thing day in, day out. The same planes, you're lifting that off the ground, you're pushing that up. It's the same thing usually all the time. And even as like an 18-year-old, it's exhausting. And I never used to see anyone on job sites labouring who was over like maybe 35, unless they were, sort of pretty hard down their luck. Or,
you see the old boys that are like strong as an ox.
Yeah.
But again, they're anomalies.
Yeah, but it's. I mean, I can attest to your gym being attractive in the way that you train people, because I mean, I even saw it on the website, and what was written on your website, because I'd initially looked at a gym where I live. I don't know if I'll say the town, maybe because I'll get kicked out, and and I didn't like the look of it whatsoever. It did not look good. The training sort of seemed like the CrossFit idea of as much as you can in as little time as possible, all that sort of stuff, and that's not what I wanted to achieve. And I mean, the training that I have done here, it was brilliant. It was right up my alley. It's just a shame I live too far away at the moment. Yeah. I don't have a freaking car.
Yeah.
But
Kat's done some miles, hasn't she, getting to this gym?
Yeah. Because I was going to get the bus initially. I thought, I'll do that. And then I did the maths, and it was going to cost, I think it was like over $100 a month or something.
Wow.
Which, with the job I've got at the moment, if I was earning more money, I'd do it. But sadly, I don't. But, it's interesting you talk about training the different planes, because I was doing workouts at a gym from a guy, I think his name is Dr. John Russin, or Russin, I don't know how to pronounce. He's an American guy. And that's the thing, he emphasises, I think it's like the six main movements, or like different planes. And having completed one of the workouts, I think the 3-month, and then I started to do the 6-month, I felt amazing. And I'd never, and it's just weights, but the way that it was being done, I'd never done weights like that before. It was completely different, and it made me feel quite athletic. Like it's sort of, I was able to sort of maintain an athletic almost ability, I guess. Like if someone said, "Oh, quickly, let's run away from You could run, you could sprint, you know. A drop bear. Yeah. But,
it's bloody a drop bears, eh?
Yeah. But no, I felt amazing. It was, and it really opened my eyes up to, I would then get into the habit where I'd see people at the gym lifting, and I'd think, fuck, your back's not going to last long deadlifting like that, or, you know, like pec flies.
But then again, it's down to education.
Yeah.
Like, when I was a Marine, it was bodybuilding, it was chest and buys, it was, or whatever you do, like, on Monday.
Yeah.
Chest day, Monday.
Yeah.
And it's like, the body is an organism, it's a machine, it's not isolated. Like, we shouldn't train in isolation all the time, unless you're rehabbing. Like, there's definite benefits for bodybuilding.
Yeah.
100%. Never going to deny that. But the body is a system. Yeah. And it needs to be trained as such. Yeah. So, like, let's take it from a boxing point of view. So, you know, I train a few boxers, love training any athlete. Yeah. Boxers and fighters, I love training them most, because they've got to use their entire body. Just the one movement of throwing a punch takes the entire body to do that. So why would we train one part of it at a time? Yeah. There's muscles that need to be worked and used as a system. Different muscles need to fire in a sequence to then complete that punch. Yeah. So why would we do it? Why would we just get rid of that? Why would we use a machine to do a movement that requires no stability? So every single stabilizer muscle, tendon, whatever, doesn't need to work. Yeah. So we become weak. You may become strong in the short term, but you're actually becoming weaker. Yeah. Like, there's no stability there. And you can see that when people come into the gym, into this gym, and will do a movement that they can't do. Yeah. They're strong. Some people are really strong, but they can't use their body because they're not trained to. Their brain doesn't link up to the muscles which need to work in order to stabilize. Yeah. And then produce force. Yeah. So I think it's definitely changing. Things are definitely changing with things such as Instagram and whatever. Like, there's a lot of content out there, but you've got to sift through the bullshit. Yeah. There's so much crap out there. Yeah. That's dangerous. Yeah. And you've got these Insta coaches that are like, look at me, I'm athletic as fuck. Yeah. I can do this. Yeah. Tag a friend, see if you can do it too. And then Joe Bloggs is like, I'm going to try that. Yeah. And then pops his shoulder out. Yeah. Because he can't do it.
No. And I think as well, the problem with Instagram now, especially with a lot of health and fitness pages, you see people just want to achieve a body type, you know. Yeah. So it's like, oh, sweet, you know, a six-pack and a pair of nice pecs. I mean... Yeah.
But again,
where's it high on my priority list?
But where's that boil down to? It boils down to culture. Yeah. And it boils down to what we see on TV and what's thrown at us in magazines, and it's like, you need to... Yeah. Like, I stopped wanting to be aesthetically pleasing to the eye. I wanted to be. I wanted to build a big chest and big guns and all that kind of stuff, but my goal massively changed when my back went. Yeah. And I got told never to lift again. Yeah. Shit. And it was at the point where I thought, well, I ain't got kids at the moment. Yeah. I want to be able to throw my kids around. Yeah. Do whatever I can with my kids. Yeah. And my grandkids. Yeah. Like, I want to get to 100. I want to smash it.
I want to be 113 when I die.
113?
Yeah, which is quite specific.
Why?
I don't know. 113. Well, I was born on Friday the 13th. Right. And, so I've always wanted to have a long life. And when I don't know how old I was, but I thought, well, 113 will be good. Yeah. And I looked up my 113th birthday, and it falls on a Friday the 13th. Yeah. So if I can sort of...
Why did you look up your 113th
I don't know.
birthday?
And so if that occurs, like, it would be sweet to just... If I'm still alive on my 130th birthday, maybe I should just top myself on that day.
I'll give you a message.
That's it.
I'll give you a message if you're still going. No, but it's it's like, yeah, we should strive to become like the best we can be.
Yeah.
Not just mentally, but physically.
Mm.
And I think it's too hard. People don't, and that's why we see many, many people try many different things and fail miserably.
Yeah.
Because if they set themselves up, if it's let's take the best one, the diet.
Mm.
Straight away, you're going on a diet.
Yeah.
So you going on it means you're going to come off it.
Yeah, exactly.
At some point, so you set yourself up to fail instantly. And there's some stuff out there which I cannot abide by.
Mm.
Shall I name them?
Yeah.
Slimming World.
I don't think I've heard of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look into it.
Is it just like powders and...
No. So, and again, those on Slimming World, you're probably going to be shouting at me saying it's amazing, it's the best thing on the planet. It's not.
Yeah.
They're allowed a certain amount of sins a day.
Yeah, right.
So a food has a certain amount of sin numbers.
Yeah.
I
it's a shame that the sins are only refined to food and not adultery or murder.
Yeah, no, yeah. If you're on, let's say on a diet, you want to be... I'm not a nutritionist, don't pretend to be. I don't give out nutrition plans because it's a minefield.
Yeah.
What I do believe in is eating healthily, as healthy as you can. Now, if someone said to me that the avocado is 12 sins, and you're only allowed something like, I don't know, 15 or whatever. Yeah. Now, how can you stand here and tell me that the avocado is a sin? Now, that implies that this is bad for you.
Yeah, it's insane.
But you go ahead and you eat as much pasta as you want. Yeah. Because it's not a sin. This is Slimming World. Yeah. You eat as much pasta as you want. Go for it. Fill your boots.
Jesus.
But if you have that avocado, you can't have any more sins. Okay?
Fucking hell, that's unbelievable.
And that's just one of the things. Now, I'm not going to go into it.
Yeah.
But people will lose weight, and there has been people who have lost weight on it. Yeah. Success stories. Yeah. It's probably because they've got their shit in order. Yeah. They're following a plan. Yeah. And they're in a calorie deficient diet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But if something is... You have a weigh-in day each week. So you go and pay for weigh-in. Yeah. Now, a lot of these... And it's mainly women that are on this. There's some men on there, but there's mainly women. Now, they will starve themselves before weigh-in day.
Christ.
Just to show that they've lost a pound or two.
Yeah.
After weigh-in day, fucking let's party.
Splurge, yeah.
Go and get the Chinese menu out. I'm going to have it. Yeah. It's not sustainable.
Nah.
It's not healthy.
Yeah.
To start denying your body of nutrient just to stand on a scale. Yeah. But then that's culture. Yeah. That's weight. Weight management, weight loss is so thrown at the body. Yeah. It's so thrown in our faces. How are you going to get away from it? People stand on the scales like, oh, I've put on a pound. Yeah. Oh, I've only lost a pound. It's like, well, why isn't anyone saying, right, Justin, you're getting too strong, mate.
No one's ever said that.
Stop getting strong.
Yeah.
You're too strong for your own good. Yeah. No one's gonna say that.
Nah.
No one's gonna think that. People who live and to these women that are on these Slimming Worlds and Weight Watchers and stuff, if I said to them, go lift weights, no, I look like a man.
Yeah, that annoys me.
It's horrific. Yeah. I mean, they put themselves. They think because there's women out there, fitness models that are thrown at them with muscles that look great, you know, athletically built, or even the bodybuilder women that are, you know, they put so much effort. Now, even that, I don't see bodybuilding as sustainable either. No, but I can appreciate what goes in to being a bodybuilder. Dedication. Yeah. It's what a lot of people don't have.
Oh, yeah.
They have dedication. They work their asses off. And more credit to them. It's not for me. No. Like I say, as a training system, I don't think it's healthy for the body to be put through that And again, they'll dehydrate themselves and they'll harm their bodies by doing that.
Aye.
But what they've got is a mindset.
Yeah.
And they'll get where they want to get to.
Yeah.
But if those kind of women are put on a platform and they lift weights, and then the average woman will see that and be like, no way, I'm not lifting weights. I don't want to look like that.
Yeah.
It's like, you ain't not going to look like that.
No.
That lady has dedicated her life to look like that.
Yeah.
You ain't going to do that in a week.
Yeah.
You ain't going to do that in a session.
No.
But it's the mind, it's the culture.
Yeah.
What's thrown at us.
Even us as relatively young men, trying to put on muscles, extraordinarily difficult. I was not able to get above 90 kilos when I lost a bit of weight running, and then I tried to put on some weight. I wanted to get up to 95, but I could not get above 90. I mean, the amount of calories I would have to eat, because my job's quite physical as well, I probably couldn't even afford to eat that much, because it's just absurd, and there's no need for it. You know, I just want to maintain being functional and obviously being strong, but you can see your body changing, and it's a good feeling. You know, like it's like, oh shit, my shoulders. You know, maybe they're getting a bit bigger, but I've never been able to put on huge amounts of muscle ever, because I think the difficulty is
body
just
type.
And
without enhancing that body type with chemical goods. But like going back to being told not to lift, like I'm just happy to be lifting and to feel strong. I've never been as strong in my life as I am now, ever. Even in the Marines, like it's a different type of fitness. And you know, I attribute that training I did there to why I did break down eventually. CrossFit was just the last straw that broke the camel's back, literally.
No, and I mean, watching some of the competitions, it's CrossFit competitions. Like I enjoy watching the big one they have at the end of the year. I watch that. I've been watching that the past 2 years in a row. I mean, they are supreme athletes, those people. And that is the worrying thing, that people, everyday people are going to try and emulate those movements, and it's just not going to end well. I mean, it doesn't end well. But I mean, you were talking about training athletes, boxers specifically. You boxed, didn't you, for a while?
Yeah, I did a little bit of boxing. Boxing in the Marines, just at novice level. Loved it. So I've got I understand what a boxer needs to do. Like I say, I've never boxed at any level. Let's keep it at novice level. But S&C wise, strength and conditioning wise, I understand what a boxer needs. And I've been lucky enough to have some exceptional boxers, Grace, come through the gym and stick with me in what I've done.
No, it's interesting, because I mean, I think we both share a love of MMA, UFC, and to me, I see those people as being probably the most or the best conditioned athletes ever. I mean, when I was doing martial arts when I was a lot younger, we'd sometimes do rounds where you had to go flat out for like 3 minutes, like a boxing round. And it's unbelievable. I couldn't believe how hard it is, and it never seemed to really get easier. I mean, strength and conditioning has changed a lot since then. I was like 16, 17, so it's quite a while ago. But now, I mean, I can't believe that they can do, say, the championships, like 5 minute rounds, five minute rounds. That's I can't even conceive of. I think that's why I'm so in awe of MMA at the moment. Just the level of athleticism that it requires is staggering.
But they have everything. They have balance, coordination, agility, speed, power, strength, explosive strength. They're beaten up though. Like, let's not forget, they're going to pay for this training. Like when they're older. And they probably aren't doing now. You know, shoulders, knees, that kind of stuff. But again, it takes a phenomenal person to want to get to that level, and the dedication they have to do to put in. And I see it firsthand with the guys that I train here. And I absolutely love it. I love seeing the effort they put in. It makes it so easy for me to train. Like as long as you know they're open to new ideas, because some have had to adapt,
Yeah.
It's a new, if they've been training for a long time in a certain way, they may feel that's the only way you should train. But luckily, I've been having success. But it's down to them as an individual that they've put that effort in. Yeah. And it's now showing.
Yeah. No, I think it's that's probably one of the most interesting things, especially as I get older. Is like I find the mental side of stuff like this probably the most appealing because, I mean, I've never been a professional athlete. I can't begin to imagine the dedication that it would take.
Yeah.
I mean, my sister was a really good swimmer when we were younger. I think she tried out for the Olympics once or twice back in Australia. But swimming, I mean, I used to be a swimmer. I didn't really like it that much because the monotony of it, just looking at a black line lap after lap, that wasn't really my deal. And but and even like the mental abilities of people who are successful in anything, like business, entrepreneurs, friggin' actors, musicians. I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah. You've got to take your place. You've got to take yourself to a place that no one will. You've got to take yourself out of that comfort zone. Yeah,
and I think that a lot of these people would have fairly extreme personalities, and I don't mean like extreme as in like kick the door down just to say hello. Like, I think that there's wacky behaviour is attributed to a lot of these people, and I'm not talking about like Harvey Weinstein. And we just cut off there because the batteries died in the recorder. I think because it's quite cold this evening, and batteries obviously don't last that long in the cold. But just to get back into fighting, I want to ask you about a young boxer who you're training, Liam Conroy.
Yep.
Is he a light heavyweight?
Light heavyweight, yeah.
Yeah.
English light heavyweight champion.
How many pounds is that? Is that 1
pounds? I know he's 12 stone 7 when he fights. I believe. I might have got that wrong.
Yeah.
I think it's 12 stone 7.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
No, I don't know. Don't ask me in pounds.
Because I'm off bloody kilos being back in Australia. I think that's the surprising thing about a lot of fighters. Like, you see them on TV and they're not really that big in real life. A lot of these blokes. I mean, like the heavyweights and stuff are big fellas, but
Liam's deep. Liam's pretty much my size.
Yeah. I mean, someone like Conor McGregor, if you just see him in real life, he wouldn't be that big.
No.
Especially if you saw him at like 145.
Yeah.
Looks like a little skeleton. It's, maybe we were talking about the mentality of stuff before it cut out.
Yeah.
I think. But that's one thing I really admire about fighters is I'm not a fighter in any stretch of the imagination whatsoever. I've never been in a fight in my life. I've never thrown a punch. I've done really well to avoid it. And to avoid some hairy situations. But I can't believe, or I can't understand how terrifying it must be to finally get into a ring or a cage and to hear the bell go. I would be vomiting. I can't understand how. Yeah. I mean, I can't understand how people do it, obviously, but I admire it so much. Yeah. I think that mental capacity. I've never been punched either. I don't know what it feels like to be punched in the face.
Nice.
I imagine it's not very nice.
Yeah, it's not too good.
Yeah, it blows me away. But I guess to segue on to talking about mental stuff and sort of mental tenacity, I wanted to go back into your military career. What was it like being in, say, Iraq and Afghanistan, being in those situations and being there for obviously a number of months at a time and then having to come back to normal civilian life? Like, how did you find the transition?
I didn't find it too bad. I was just glad to be home.
Yeah.
Literally glad to be home. I kind of picked up straight away where I'd left off. I was young, especially Iraq. I was 19 when I got back.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go out.
Yeah.
Get on the piss.
Yeah.
And I think that helped me decompress from the situation. That was my go-to.
Yeah.
Like I would just go out and get wrecked. It's probably might have had a bit of an effect on me without me realising, but I don't think I struggled too much. I didn't resent anything.
Yeah.
I just got on with it.
Yeah.
It was just the next. What's the next thing I'm doing?
Yeah.
Same thing with Afghan. Got back, just so happy to be home.
Yeah.
And made, just kind of just took it by the horns. I'm home. Let's go have fun.
Yeah.
I'm lucky.
Yeah.
Because a lot of my friends haven't.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to ask. Like, in those situations, and you mentioned earlier that in Afghanistan you felt like you were probably always being watched. Is the most sort of is most emphasis daily put on survival? Does that lifestyle, or does that life for that period of time, day by day, does it become sort of a game of survival almost? Is that the most, in terms of like hierarchy, is that at the top of, are you always in like a survival mode, I guess?
I think subconsciously, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we were always in danger.
Yeah.
You're in someone else's backyard, you don't know the layout of the land. They do.
Yeah.
You don't know what's been hidden.
Yeah.
You don't know what's under your feet.
Yeah.
That was the hardest thing for me, was like walking.
Yeah.
Stepping on things.
Yeah.
Knowing that every step could have been my last. You kind of forget about it. But then you'll find, like we found our whole troop walk, and this is like, I was the last section, so we're talking like 20 lads.
Yeah.
Just over 20 lads had walked past an ID which had been put into the ground, and my point man, Arnie, without drawing attention to it, because you don't know who's on the end of it, kind of told me that there's something down there. What is it? We had a little look, or we kind of had a quick scan, and then got everybody out off that road.
Yeah.
And then one of the engineers, basically at night, we'd moved all the way around this position without the enemy thinking that we were still in where we were.
Yeah.
So we'd come all the way around them and carried on back towards our position, but they didn't expect us to be there. So luckily no one was on the end of it.
Yeah.
Now, it was 2 anti-tank mines laid on top of each other in the middle of the road.
Jeez, yeah.
When it was detonated and blown up, it created a hole in the ground, probably, and I've got photos of this, it was probably as big as this room.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking 3 metres by probably 5 metres.
Yeah.
And
Jeez.
the depth was probably 2 metres.
Yeah. Christ.
It would have vaporised the whole troop.
Yeah.
It's everybody in that troop, 30 men, would have been, if you didn't get injured in that, you would have been lucky.
Yeah.
Everyone would have been wiped.
Yeah.
And, then it was like, right, okay, this is serious shit.
Yeah. How early on did that occur? Was that
this was our last stop.
Yeah. Shit.
So this is our last, literally, the last stop we went on was the most kinetic.
Yeah.
16-hour days.
Yeah.
Continuously in contact. You were continuously fighting the enemy on a unit level.
Yeah.
Like, we went to a place called Marja in Afghan, in Helmand province, which had been they tried before to kind of go through it and failed. The Americans had.
Yeah.
And so we went in as a unit, and we were scheduled to be there for 5 days.
Yeah.
I think we had to come out after 3, simply because the amount of ammunition we'd used as a unit, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But we did a job. It was unbelievable experience.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I loved the fact that all of my boys were heroes. They were unbelievable. Whenever it got saucy, whenever it got intense, every single one of them stepped up to the plate.
Yeah.
And it was, I had to make sure that they came home. That was my job.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine what my boss would have felt, because I had 7 lads, he had 30.
Yeah.
He had 29 guys.
Yeah. Jeez.
And then my OC, he had 100.
Yeah.
Like, how that man must feel.
Yeah.
And then the CO, he's got a unit. Like, if he decides to send us somewhere that's, the wrong location, he could lose hundreds of men.
Yeah. God.
So that pressure. So, that mental toughness is...
Yeah.
You've got to have that. You've got to know what you're doing. Luckily, my OC, unbelievable man.
Yeah.
I'd follow him into the depths of hell if there was one.
Yeah.
I really would.
Yeah. Christ. Are these... Like, I flew back to Australia for Christmas, and I was watching the map of the little plane, and I mean, we went over Iraq. I can't recall if we went anywhere near Afghanistan. I can't see it in my head at the moment, but I remember specifically going over Iraq, and that leads me on to the thought, like, are these places you'd ever go back to? Like, obviously not in a military capacity, but...
I'd go back to Iraq.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful country. And Afghanistan is beautiful.
Yeah.
I think when I saw it, it was a wall of concrete.
Yeah.
And a wall of war.
Yeah.
I think once that's gone, it's beautiful, beautiful places.
Yeah.
Some of Saddam's palaces that we went to were just
they looked amazing.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Afghan, the terrain is so picturesque.
Yeah.
It's so different and rugged and raw and almost menacing to look at.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful.
Yeah. I can't remember what I was going to say. It's as an adult now, like, you've been an adult for a long time. You're obviously an adult when you're in the army. But what I mean to say is now, like quite a few years after you toured there, do you look at retrospectively, do you look at the political situations that caused, or I guess you can't say caused, but do you look at the political sort of aspects of war like that occurred, say, even like the 91 Gulf War? I guess what I'm sort of pointing towards is, like, say, Dick Cheney, all these... I don't know if they're conspiracy theories or if it's, like Halliburton and the reasons why people the Yanks may have invaded Iraq is for the oil and stuff like that. Have you looked at stuff like that in your head? Like,
to be honest, no, mate. Like, I was a soldier, and that was my job. Yeah, and I went where I got told to go. I had a look at current affairs, but it wasn't my job to know all that. Really, I didn't have an interest in it. I just wanted to make sure that I got home, and my friends got home. It angers me now that a lot of the land that we took and fought for and died for has just been given back. And it's like, well, why was we there? So I can't say I regret the role I played, because I don't. But I would, why were we there? Why were we there in the first place? It's just bullshit. Like, that's why I tend not to look at the political view, because those men and women who make those decisions that we go, they'll never see that.
No,
they'll never know that. And that angered me so much when Marine Al Blackman got sent down for murder.
Right, I recall that.
They will never understand what he went through. Having to pick body parts of his lads out of trees. Killing a mortally wounded man. It's war. It's war
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And unlucky for him, the powers that be thought he killed it. He killed on the Geneva Convention. Deserved to go to jail for that.
Yeah.
And it's almost heartbreaking.
Yeah.
To know that, and especially with inquiries going on about what went on in Iraq, and when I heard that stuff on the news, I thought, what the fuck, did I do anything? Was I part of anything out there that someone might come knocking on my door?
Yeah.
Like, I just did what I was told and did it to the best of my ability. Now, am I going to get chastised for that?
Yeah.
For risking my life for this country when these men and women who have no idea what it's like are accusing people like myself of crimes that and then some there must have been some people that did some shit, but it's in an extreme case. You're in an extreme environment. There's no downtime to it.
No, there's
no deload. You don't go home at the weekend. You're constantly in the thick of it. So it's tough to swallow when some people who have no experience want to talk on the matter.
No, I can understand that. Because I recall that case on the news. I remember hearing about it, and I'm sure I read a few articles about it. But so he did get found guilty, didn't he?
Yeah. He's out now.
Yeah, that's right. Because he came out. Yeah,
which is brilliant.
Yeah.
You saw a lot of people online calling him a murderer and stuff like this, and these keyboard warriors who just have absolutely no idea.
Oh yeah,
no idea. They just see that Marine A killed a man. In cold blood. Oh, he's the worst man ever. He should be put to prison. He shouldn't get out. It's terrible. The service that man did for this country, just to be rolled under a bus. It's despicable in my opinion.
No, well, I guess that leads me on to I guess we mentioned PTSD briefly, and on your Facebook page, did you start a little group here?
Yeah, we're in the midst of just starting it. So we've put it's basically through the Royal Marines Jiu-Jitsu. Founded something called Reorg, the Reorg Foundation, and it's run through the Royal Marines charity as well. Now, I don't do jiu-jitsu. I love jiu-jitsu, but I can't do it simply because of the time here. I wanted to help any way I could. And then I saw Reorg Jiu-Jitsu, Reorg Boxing came out, and then I saw Reorg Functional Fitness. And I was like, right, I need to get in touch with these guys. I can do something from up here. So I messaged them and said, yep, we're up in Cumbria. Like, can I do anything to help? Basically, I'm under their banner now with Reorg Functional Fitness, and we'll be doing like classes for veterans who have or do suffer with PTSD. And it'll be completely free for them, and then afterwards it'll be like a little chat, have a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, sit down, have a chat.
Sweet.
Because it's something that exercise, not only exercise but getting people, like, there's all these kind of groups that they can go to, these groups they can sit and talk, but a lot of the times it's led by people who have no idea what we've been through. Whereas through Reorg Functional Fitness, the lads who are doing it, they've all been there. And then we've got common ground straight away. And I see myself as a lucky person that I've not suffered and hopefully never will do from PTSD. And I wouldn't want anyone to suffer it. And if I can only help one person, then and that makes me happy. I can help one person, but a couple of people have reached out to me.
Sweet.
So hopefully we'll get something sorted very, very soon.
Because I think, if I recall correctly, I think my little brother was saying, the one in the Royal Marines, that there is quite a few Royal Marines and like ex-Royal Marines sort of dotted around this area and like closer to where I live as well.
Right.
I'm pretty sure, because it was always so close to the border. Up in Scotland.
Yeah.
He actually bumped into a bloke. We were having a coffee at one of the local shops there, and this guy overheard what my little brother and I were talking about. He said, "Oh, you like I'm a Royal Marine as well. You know, I'm based here." And he was based where my little brother wanted to go, or actually is now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do see the military or the army have stalls where I am quite often, like in the malls, looking for potential recruits and stuff. So yeah, hopefully that's a success. I hope you get
like I say, one person.
Yeah,
I'm not going to not do it because it's only one person.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not looking to fill a class with minimum 10 people to do it. I don't care. One person. If it's 1 hour of my time, it's 1 hour of my time. It's nothing.
Yeah, sweet.
Just to help someone.
Yeah. We'll end it there, man. It's been a good chat. I've enjoyed it.
Thanks for having me.
The time's gone very quick.
It has flown. It's Friday night.
Yeah, bloody hell. But no, I wish you all the best success. I think things are definitely going to go very well for you. And yeah, hopefully you can help some people out to pick stuff up off the floor correctly without breaking their backs.
Yeah.
But also, servicemen who might be suffering from PTSD as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've enjoyed it, mate.
Nice one. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Cheers, buddy.
And that concludes today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the conversation I had with Matty. And if you'd like to get in touch with Cumbria Strength and Conditioning and Matty and the crew there, as I said at the start, go to their website at www.cumbriasc.co.uk, and all the contact details will be there for you. It was an interesting chat. I enjoyed it. I've never really had the opportunity to speak to a soldier, I guess, about their experiences in a theatre of war. So for me, it was very enlightening. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you'd like to follow me on Instagram, that's probably the best place to follow the podcast. Just use the handle @Redvers Music. And I've got links to the SoundCloud page there for Redvers Podcast. And on that SoundCloud page, there's also links to the official iTunes page. So please do download the podcast and subscribe via iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, and also on Stitcher, which is for all the people with Androids. You'd have to probably download the app and then follow the Redvers podcast via Stitcher. But that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you next time.